Welcome back to the Loading Up Podcast. I am your host, Brother Zay, and tonight we have Producer Jay.
Yo.
And Brother Tay.
You know, last night I had a dream. You were mustard.
I was mustard. Oh, man.
Normally you're ketchup in my dreams.
Why do you do
that?
Oh, man, that's funny. So before we get into anything, I want to take a second to let you know about our sponsors, Dubby Energy Drink. You can click the link down below and use code LUP at checkout for 10% off. And also, there's more links down below for Starforge PCs. If you want to get a pre-built PC, Starforge PCs is the way to go. And also NordVPN. Protect yourself and get a VPN today with NordVPN. The links are right in the description down below.
Also, if you want to play games at work.
Oh, that's a good reason.
It is.
All right, now we got that out the way. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Brother Tay, you're up first.
I've been playing Another Man's Crab. The crab.
Oh, you started playing that game?
Yeah, I bought it on the. Oh my god.
We were just talking about your dog
Just
trying to get this
that.
show.
Bring him on. Put him on the mic.
All right. Well, while he gets that settled, I'll talk about what I've been playing.
Go ahead.
So I mean, I've been playing the same things. I finally beat the story mode for WWE, but I'm pissed because I did it, but I didn't unlock the achievement. Which
Why
is
not?
the whole freaking point. I don't know. I think I have an idea that is because I switched it to easy. Because I switched it to easy because I wanted to get through it faster. Because I told you like third time I was going through it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what caused it. Because I know a lot of people were saying there was issues with achievements before, but like every other achievement is unlocking except that one. And it happened after I put it back to normal. So I don't know. And I'm gonna save that one for last. Because I'm done with that shit. I'm not trying to do that again. But no, because like I feel like every game. So I feel like I've said this before. I want to like 100% the games that like mean the most to me. I've done it with Mass Effect. I'm doing it with Metal Gear Solid. One day I want to do it with Kingdom Hearts. I don't know how feasible that will be because
Oh my god.
Playing on proud mode, I am not looking forward to that.
I
But
was gonna say, like, are you ready for that?
I will be someday, maybe. But maybe when Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, I'll try.
Oh, don't worry, you have like 15 years.
Yeah, I
you
know.
got
So
mad
I got
time.
plenty of time. I'll be retired and I'll have more time to practice.
Absolutely.
So I feel like with the WWE games, like I play all of them. So I was like, maybe 1 year I can do all the achievements because they're not hard. It's just you gotta do the stuff, like you gotta take the time to do it. The most annoying ones are the freaking ones that are on. It's called My Faction, and it's like a card mode. It's similar to like all the other 2K modes where you gotta get cards and then you build your team. And then you use that team to take on other teams, and it's very tedious. But at least in this year, because in previous years they made it so that way, like there was exclusive characters in that mode, and you can only use them in that mode. And people were pissed off because like there were characters that they wanted to play, like all the old school legends and stuff like that, and special attires and versions and stuff like that. It was restricted to just that mode. But this year they made it so that way once you unlock them in that mode, you can play them in every other mode, which is very cool. And they didn't have to do that, knowing 2K and how they are with their freaking microtransaction shit.
Knowing 2K.
Yeah, and 2K is very stingy, and they want people to just spend money endlessly with no like purpose. But they changed it this year, so I was more inclined to try it out, and I got it. They actually have a version of Cody Rhodes and John Cena, which is the toy version. It's literally like the action figure that you would buy in the store. It's that, but you get to play as them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, and I unlocked both of them, so it's cool. It's cool. But eventually, I'll finish that game. I'm still playing Cocoon. I feel like I'm right at the end because I did like one of the bosses was like really hard, and it felt like it was one of like the final bosses, maybe like the second to last one. Because I know that game is not that long. So I'm still working my way through that, and I'll figure out what I play next. Probably I feel like my next game I want to do Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Oh, it's a good one.
Because I played the first one, I loved it, and then when the second one came out, for whatever reason, I never started it, even though I loved the first one.
Shame on you.
So, hey, listen, I'm gonna get to it, all right?
We know your backlog. We get it.
That's why I have my Rogue Ally. Speaking of which, they freaking
Oh,
I was sorry, I gotta get a I breathed a sigh of relief because there was rumors that they were gonna release the Ally 2.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just bought this one. Like I don't want to have FOMO for another version. And it turns out it's not the Ally 2. It's kind of like a refresh. It's called the ROG Ally X.
Yeah, it's like a pro version.
It's like, yeah, kind of, not really. Like, it's just a different version. Like, it has, the only thing that's really different is the color. It's supposed to be black, and the original one is white. And then it has a better battery. And then a new form factor, like the case is different. But other than that, it's exactly the same. So I was just like, phew. I don't have to worry about feeling like I need to upgrade anytime soon, because I can't afford to upgrade. But anyway, yes, I was praying. I was like, thank you, you're looking out for me. But yeah, so that's enough of me, brother Tay.
Yeah, brother Tay.
What's up?
Back to you. Your games you was playing.
Yeah, I was playing the crab game, or crab Dark Souls as we've been calling it.
Yeah. How you like it?
It is, but it's very entertaining to me.
No, it is. It is. It's very fun. It can be frustrating, but very fun.
Oh yeah, it's very much like Dark Souls in its sense. But I'm having a great time with it. I know I've seen some of the stuff. I can't wait because I've seen like trailers and stuff. I can't wait to fight the eel with the vibrator.
What? Oh wait, I think I did see that.
I was like, you didn't know? Like let me tell you. Like, let me put you on game real quick.
Yeah, it's a good game for sure.
Man.
You say you got it on the Switch?
Yeah, that's why I saw it was on, so I got it on the Switch. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's everywhere. You can get on PC, Xbox, Switch, PlayStation, every system.
Well, beans.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's leaves up to me. So we, my group on Xbox, we've been playing because we beat Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox. So our Sunday, it was really good, really fun. Our Sunday game is gone. So we're trying to figure out what game we can play. So we decided to play Remnant 2 on Game Pass.
Oh.
And surprisingly, really fun, really good story, and very, very interesting like gameplay, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I did not like the first Remnant. That also launched in Game Pass. It played very weird. I didn't like it, but this one's very different. And it plays a lot better, and it's really fun. It's really fun. So we're playing that Remnant 2, and also I've been playing a little bit of Little Kitty Big City that dropped on Game Pass. And surprisingly, it's a really enjoyable game, very funny. You are literally a cat in a big city who gets lost, and you gotta like find your way home while doing like little quests like tripping humans, trying to get their cell phones out of their hands.
It's like the Goose Game, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of like the Goose Game. Yeah, but you're a cat. You can jump. Yes, yeah. You can trip humans. You can go into the shops and walk up on their cabinets, hitting like stuff off of their hitting the flower pots off their fences and stuff. It's a fun cheeky game because it actually has a story. It's I'm having fun playing it.
Just being disrespectful.
Definitely.
A nice game to just like come home and just play a few.
Yeah, exactly. Tripping humans, catching birds.
That's
So
life.
that's a life, yeah. So that's all I've been playing. That's what I've been playing recently.
That's life. I hate
Oh, it's better than going to work.
Oh yeah.
it. When you're
So
a cat, you don't work.
facts. I guess we could just jump right into the news since we have a little bit to cover. Um, uh, this has been the last week, and it's just been one hell of a week. It really has.
Oh man, freaking these publishers are trying to like one up each other in terms of being shitty.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
I thought we were talking about like trying to one up each other in like production.
No, you would
No,
think. You
no,
would think.
that's what we hope, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll jump into it. This one is about the Nintendo Switch 2. So the president of Nintendo came out and said that we should not expect news about the Nintendo Switch at their next sort of little showcase that they're gonna do. Um, Seemingly just announcing that they're working on and have set to release a Switch 2. Um, without really saying, "Hey, we have a Switch 2."
Yeah,
So it was so weird. It's so weird his announcement.
I don't. It's very weird of Nintendo to like go about it this way because like they probably, well, I guess they're trying to temper expectations. Like they don't want people to expect a Switch 2 announcement because it's incoming. You know, it's like it's been rumored for so long. Like people are expecting it, so they're telling people, "Hey, we're not talking about it yet. We know you know, but we're not talking about it yet."
Yeah,
But it's just the fact that they're acknowledging it. Like I feel like Nintendo usually would just be like, "Let them talk. Like we'll just show it when we show it."
I guess they didn't want any like crazy backlash like the other publishers have been getting.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, they're like, "Hey, we know it's coming, but we're just not ready yet. All right, give us a second." You know, so that way you don't hear all the Nintendo fanboys crying about not seeing the Switch.
You know what? Knowing how Nintendo fanboys are, this is probably the best idea because they would have poured into Nintendo.
Definitely.
I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
yeah, so no, I would if I didn't see the Switch without knowing that there was gonna be like no news about the Switch. I didn't see it at the showcase. I would have been like, man, that was terrible, man.
Yeah.
That was showcase. So yeah.
Looking at it like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I want to see the Switch 2 or Switch Pro or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting too is I don't know if they did it in like the first. I think they addressed it like a few times. They mentioned that it was a Switch console. Like it wasn't like they at first they said the successor to the Switch.
Yeah.
But then I think in another tweet or something like that, they said it was a like Switch Next, like another version of the Switch, essentially, which is what has been rumored. But I think this is the first time they're like admitting that this is not going to be like a hard change from what they've been doing. Like I feel like they've always done like drastic shifts in terms of like their consoles, but this is the first time they're actually doing. I guess the other time they did it was like the Wii and the Wii U.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's sort of like how the Wii and the Wii U is.
Yeah,
it wasn't too drastic, but it was big enough difference.
Yeah, so I think they're taking that approach. Hopefully, it'll play out better than the Wii U did. I think it will. I think.
Oh no, big dog.
No, I think it will in the sense that I mean we've talked about it before that the reason why the Switch was so successful is because they merged their two audiences. They got the handheld and then the home console, and they put them together, and now both of them can play the same games. And I think that was probably the best decision because I feel like when the Wii U was like tanking, the 3DS is what kept Nintendo afloat, essentially.
True.
And so I think that they're going to continue that. I don't think they're going to split it. But the issue is that with Nintendo, at least Nintendo fans, they've shown in the past that they don't really care about a power difference. That they're not really in it to play games at 1080p or 4K, 60 frames and stuff like that. They don't care about that stuff.
They don't even care if it's 30 frames. They can.
They don't.
They'll be as low as 10, and they'll be perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, they for as much as they complain, they don't complain about that. So
Which they should.
they should, but the Nintendo fans, whatever. Um, so I'm very interested to see how this will end up doing, and if there's enough of a market for it. Like I know a lot of other people will jump into it, but now with the Steam Deck and ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go, like there's like already a product for the gamer that wants the power in a handheld. So it's like, is Nintendo kind of too late? I guess they have the games to go with it, but I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting.
Definitely, it's gonna be very interesting.
I think they'll be fine.
Are you gonna get one?
What?
A Switch 2 Pro, whatever it's called.
We'll see. I still haven't got a PlayStation 5, so.
Well, what about you, Zay?
Oh man, I have
Like
two
we talked
Nintendo
about it
Switch.
before.
Yeah, I have two Nintendo Switches, and both of them barely get touched. I don't know. I don't want to buy a system and play Pokemon at 10 frames per second and it running like a janky piece of crap. I don't want to do it. And I have to just come out and wait and see before I make a decision to put money down on this, because I'm sick and tired of spending money on Nintendo and then I don't touch it. I just don't play it,
But it's Pokemon.
Nope, I'm done.
What if they announce a new Mario Kart?
I don't believe
No,
in
you know they're gonna do Mario Kart 8.2 and just give you this, make you pay $80 for the same shit that you've been paying and playing for the last 4 years.
And yes, and we will be playing Mario Kart in the new tournament. I understand what the problem is.
Yeah.
No, I'm sick of it. I want new. I want better, and I need Nintendo fans like you, Tay, to step up and want better too.
You can't blame me because I have not bought shit.
Okay,
I was gonna say
All right,
he's
you're right.
a PlayStation fan. What are you talking?
I am whatever game is bought for me for Christmas, fam.
We're gonna get him an Xbox Series S for Christmas.
And
It'll be
you
an
will watch
Xbox
me
fan.
play it. Like you'll watch me play it and get upset later. Like, what is wrong with this thing?
Oh man, that's funny. Oh man, I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see. I'm waiting on the Switch 2. I'll see what the video breakdowns on Digital Foundry and how it plays. I'm sick of wasting money on Nintendo.
But they're gonna get it anyway.
Shut up.
Hal L
kids-
will get
his
a
kids
Switch
are gonna
2.
want it.
I was
No,
gonna
no.
say, I just said it.
It's like,
No.
come on, Dad. My friends all got it. I can't be left out with my friends.
Nah, he's on PS5 right now. He's chilling.
For now.
Yeah, for now. So speaking of showcases, when it comes to showcases, so the PlayStation Showcase has not been announced. Nobody knows when it's coming. But rumor has it that it's the ongoing feud between Kendrick Lamar and Drake is tied into the PlayStation Showcase somehow. And I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Like,
I don't get it.
it's so weird how many like avenues this beef has touched. It's touched wrestling. It's touched video
Wrestling.
games now.
Video games.
They've
Yeah.
literally, Kendrick had a line about hitting the sweet chin music, and that was enough to get Shawn Michaels to be like, "Hey, you should come to WWE. We'll invite you."
Yeah. I mean, apparently, I'm doing been doing some more research on it. So that leak, right, was false. All right, they did come out and say Kendrick cannot drop the next diss track until after the showcase because of contract stuff. That everybody, that's where it's like, whoa, that means that there has to be the showcase soon, because Drake is over here responding and Kendrick hasn't released anything yet. So
Yeah.
they were predicting that it was going to happen as soon as possible. But it turns out that leak, that rumor was just false. It wasn't true. But it did, take a little bit off on Twitter, and people were wondering when the next PlayStation Showcase is going to happen. Now, there are insiders who would say that it will happen this year, this summer, and they even asked about first party games. So they're looking. PlayStation right now is looking to the future because right now they have nothing on their slate for first party games coming out until April of 2025. So the next showcase has got to be big for PlayStation fans. It's got to show something, something first party, something that we could be excited about. Because it's been mostly dry, I mean, they had Stellar Blade and reviewed pretty well, but that had its own controversy inside its own controversy between, censoring stuff and stuff. So it's been a bit dry on the PlayStation side, and we need to see some more stuff coming from them.
And I think forget who said it, that supposedly it is coming out in May. Or the showcase is supposedly happening in May. I think it's probably Jeff Grubb, because I feel like he tends to have he tends to pick these dates, especially for PlayStation. It's like PlayStation, Nintendo. He always tries to nail down the date.
Yeah.
For when they're gonna do their showcase.
They don't do a date. It's only Xbox that says, "Hey, we're gonna do a showcase in June." And
Xbox will do it.
PlayStation and Nintendo are just like, "We'll do it whenever. You'll be there."
Yeah. It's interesting how it's so different. Like Xbox, they hype up their showcase for months, and because I guess it's a lot of planning. Obviously, they're a big corporation. They got ABK and Bethesda and stuff like that, so it's a lot to coordinate. But with PlayStation, it's literally they'll announce it on the Monday and be like, "Yeah, we're doing it tomorrow." It's same thing with Nintendo. It's they both do the same approach. I guess there's less to leak if they announce it so close to when it's happening, and I guess to capitalize on hype and stuff like that.
That makes sense, but it really be close. Nintendo be like, they'll be like, "Oh, we're going live in 10 minutes." We're like, "What?"
Yeah,
I didn't even know what happened. There's no schedule. By the way,
in case you forgot, or you were wondering.
I know you were wondering when the next showcase was. So it's today.
It's right now. Come on, tune in.
It's now 2:20. It'll be on at 2:30.
It really is wild. They just do whatever they do,
Yeah, but I have a feeling it's coming soon. They, like you said, they have to show something off, but I mean, whatever they show off is gonna be for next year. But at least to get people hyped up, because I know sales have gone down, especially now that people are talking about the PS5 Pro, and people are just waiting. What?
Yeah.
There technically is no reason to buy. If you haven't upgraded already, there's no reason to buy a PlayStation 5 right now.
Yeah, just wait.
So you might as well just wait. Same thing with Xbox, same thing with Nintendo. All their sales are gonna plummet because they know a new console is coming out eventually.
Yep.
So there's no reason to. The only thing they can do is just announce games, and then hopefully people will get those games.
Yep. That's right. So I guess the only good thing that came out of Sony this year was Helldivers 2. It was a major hit. Even with me, I absolutely fell in love with the game. Yeah, we played it. It was.
Yeah, I even bought it on PlayStation.
Oh, nah, you're bugging. I brought it on Steam.
Wait, which one? I'm sorry.
Helldivers 2.
Helldivers 2. Yeah, it was like a breakout hit. Yeah, been a breakout hit for PlayStation, not just on PlayStation, also on PC. The driving force of Helldivers community, and it fell into some major controversy this past week for having Steam players link a PlayStation account to their Steam account, and PC players did not like that at all. They were sort of blindsided. Now, apparently, this has been a requirement for the game for a while, but because of server issues, the CEO at Arrowhead decided to not require it at launch, and I guess they didn't notify the Steam community, or people just didn't see it. They didn't even pay attention to it before buying.
It said it on the thing that it requires a PSN account.
Yeah,
So
but honestly, who reads that? Who goes down? Because no, I'm being serious. Because if you go to the Steam page, right, to see where it says, oh, requires this, you have to scroll all the way down, and it's on the right hand side, all the way down, and it's a small little section on the right. I'm gonna click buy. I'm gonna purchase. That's it. 1, 2, 3. It's downloading.
well, that's
I'm
on
not,
you. You didn't read the TOS.
you better shut your mouth.
I dared you to tell me you read that shit.
Yeah, it could have said requires you to sell your soul to the devil, and you
That's
would
a
have
South
clicked buy
Park joke.
anyway.
That's a South
Yeah.
Park joke. You keep that out of here.
No, you're right. It did mention it, but they didn't do it because of server issues. So now that the server issues have stopped,
It wasn't clear enough.
Yeah, just wasn't clear. So now people are required to, and Sony sort of doubled down and said you have to do it, and the PC community did not like that. So the PC community is very, very stubborn. You cannot force them to do anything.
Nope.
I mean, they don't even pay full price for games. So you think you're gonna force them to create an account?
You're talking about a community that actively avoids a platform, even though they don't have to spend any money, they don't have to like do anything, and they will just prefer to use Steam instead of like Epic Game Store or the Microsoft Store.
Yeah.
Like they just don't care. They will not do anything that they do not want to do,
Yeah.
even if it's like the easiest thing.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking about a community who literally bullied Microsoft into getting the Microsoft Store like delisted. Nobody cares about it. They're gonna get their stuff on Steam and that's it. So like you can't force the PC community to do anything. And when Sony doubled down and said you need this or you can't play it, the PC community went apeshit and they review bombed Helldivers 2 into oblivion. It had 222,000 negative reviews in a matter of a day, and it was a travesty. But you know, there's been some highlights of the community manager over at Arrowhead. Before the review bomb, he actually told the community, "This is not us. This is Sony. We're on the player side in this fight." But the only way we're gonna get anything changed is if you review bomb and ask for your refund. And ever since then, it's just been going haywire. People who now the policy for Steam is you can't have played the game more than 2 hours in order to be eligible for a refund. There were people with over 200 hours getting a refund for Helldivers simply because of the TOS for Sony changing it, because that's what they did. They actually changed their terms of service in order to make it to have you sign up for an account.
Yeah, initially it said it was optional, and then they changed it to be like, no, it's mandatory.
Exactly. So like they doubled down. Sony doubled down, and the PC community did not like that at all. So they review bombed and they requested refunds, and in the end, it seemed like Sony did the right thing. They came out, they reversed the decision. They're not going to require a PlayStation account to be linked. And the community seemed like they did their job. They won. They even started reversing the reviews to be positive. One of the reviews was absolutely hilarious. I was going through them, and one of the reviews was like, "This game is amazing." It had an actual mission in real life. So it's absolutely insane. So we thought we had a win. The PC community won, but Sony tripled down. So PlayStation Network is only available in 69 countries out of the 200 and something odd countries we have in this world. 69 countries, that's it. So 177 countries cannot make a PlayStation account. And even in some of those countries, you can't make a PlayStation account unless you have an actual console. You can't do it on the web. So banning PlayStation, banning Helldivers 2 in those countries. Even if you already purchased it, you're no longer able to play it.
Yeah.
And then people can't purchase it anymore in those countries, literally leaving potentially millions of sales just so that way PlayStation can say we have more monthly active users. it's been a travesty. And I actually still have a negative review on Helldivers until they change their position and actually open up the games to be purchased again in those 177 countries. Could you imagine 177 countries just banned from buying a game simply because you're being a shitty publisher?
Yeah, I don't understand what they're trying to accomplish with this. Like, I get that okay, if this was a requirement from the jump, at least like you can say like, oh, this was always a thing. But the fact that they're doing it months later and just kind of like brute forcing it is what everybody had a problem with.
Yep.
And it's more, and honestly, I see it like it's more out of principle. Obviously, it's not hard to make a PSN account. I know some people talk about like security issues, like Sony has been hacked like 6 times in the past decade or something like that, and I get that trepidation and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's just the fact that like it wasn't required before. Why is it required now? Yeah. And the whole delisting from the countries that don't support a PlayStation account, like that's just straight up shitty. Like there's no excuse for that. And the fact that they still haven't even reversed that part, even though they said that they were gonna go back on this whole decision.
Yeah.
Like that's still shitty. And then now all their other games that are requiring a PSN account for online stuff are doing the same thing. Like Ghost of Tsushima is coming out, or I don't know if it came out already, but it required a PSN account if you wanted to do that PlayStation overlay to link to your trophies and stuff like that. And even if you don't ever plan on touching that stuff, they're still banning it in countries where you can't create a PSN or PlayStation account. Like that's crazy. Like why would
177 different countries?
Why would you just willingly throw away money like that? Especially since Sony for the past few months have been open about being aggressive in the PC market in their expansion. Like they've said like the future of PlayStation is on PC and mobile and cloud, but mainly on PC because that's where the money is. They're diversifying their revenue streams. And now they do stuff like this. It's like, do you care about the PC community? Because clearly they don't like this move. Why are you tripling down on something that they told you, I don't like this?
Do.
Yeah, they said, we don't like this. We will review bomb your game, ask for refunds, and potentially tank this game that you had that was a success.
Yeah.
All because you want to be able to say that you put your stamp on it. And boast about your monthly active users. Like, it's just, I don't understand.
It's absolutely insane. It really is. And there's even people, like you said, you mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, how people are buying the director's cut on PC. And there's actually a tweet, somebody tweeted out the email that they received from I think it's Sucker Punch that emailed people who brought it on the PC. They're giving them a full refund. Because the PlayStation Network cannot be created in their country, in their region. So they're giving them a full refund because they don't want any issues.
Uh-huh.
So they're not even allowing them to have the game because they pulled it from the stores because you need a PlayStation Network account. Yeah. I'm sorry, but if PlayStation Network is not available in every single country where you're selling the game, why are you requiring it? It doesn't make any sense. You're literally holding back your own brand and your own games just to have monthly active users go up. It doesn't make sense to me.
And it's just crazy too, because like, I mean, we'll get to it in a little bit. Like Microsoft, like completely shat the bed, and they gave Sony a layup, and they decided instead of slam dunking the ball, they're gonna tap the ball outside of the field, the court, and just like freaking, just do whatever. Like, they just don't care. They're going to do whatever they want. And it's like, why would you do this? Like, you literally had everything going for you.
You had it gold and you wanted to go, like, for a lower level. Like, you wanted a lower reward.
Yeah. They could have had a gold medal and said there was, like, bronze is good. It's like, I don't know.
Bronze is just as good,
not bronze. It gets even worse because Arrowhead decided to fire the community manager who told
For
people to
yeah, who
ask for
told people?
refunds.
Yeah,
You know, but
I
at
mean,
the end of the day, he was doing his job. He was being the community manager. He was on the front
okay,
lines.
I get that. You can't do that. Like working for a company, you can't tell people, yeah, just give us bad reviews and maybe we'll fix it. It's like that's as a community manager, you can't say that. Even if that's how you feel, you can't say that shit.
He's like, yo,
Yeah,
something's
you have
gonna
to
work.
understand. You have to understand something. I was reading the stuff that he was being sent on their Discord
No,
and everything.
I get it.
He was out there fighting wars by himself.
No, I
You
get it.
know,
I
he
get it.
needed backup, and he was in the trenches alone. You know, he was out there fighting. He had no other choice. And you know what? It feels like the community, PC community, still has no other choice besides to keep the negative reviews and keep asking for refunds simply because Sony is being such a shitty ass publisher right now. Banning the game in 177 different countries is absolutely shitty, and nobody could tell me otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's nothing more to say.
There's
The thing
nothing
is,
more to say.
yeah, there's nothing more to say. The thing is though, like I have a feeling they're not gonna do this for every game. They're only gonna do this for games that have a online component.
Yeah,
But still, it's like why make
but
things so complicated?
they're just. But the thing is, there's only one part of Ghost of Tsushima that has
Yeah,
multiplayer,
I
right?
know.
So in the countries where you can make a PlayStation Network account, they're not requiring it if you're playing just a single player. Only if you're doing the multiplayer. But then there are countries who are like, well, you can't purchase the game because you can't make a PlayStation Network account, and it's required to do for the multiplayer. So we're just not gonna allow it in our store. That's crazy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people will say like, oh, like you have to make a Xbox account for Sea of Thieves, or you have to make a Rockstar account for GTA, and it's like, okay, they told you that from the get-go. They
Yeah.
didn't just press it upon you 3 months later after you already sunk a bunch of hours in the game. Like
Yeah.
that's a different situation. You
And-
had the opportunity to be like, nah, I don't feel like creating that. I'm
I
gonna back
won't do
out.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they allow you to skip it. And or the PC community don't like those things anyway. We don't like
And yeah, they
creating
don't like that
accounts.
either. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they didn't even want to do an Epic Store account to get Epic games.
that's what I was saying. Like,
You know,
you know
exactly.
you know how many free games I've gotten from Epic Games because they want people to come to their service, and
Yeah.
it's still not working. It doesn't work. Like they're giving away free games, and people still will buy games on
Oh,
Steam.
yeah, I got a ton of free games from the Epic Store.
Oh yeah, no, I'll take advantage of it. I don't care. But other people won't, despite
Yeah.
that.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, my integrity. It fucking sucks to be you
It's
then.
like, all right, yeah. It's like I'm getting my free
Okay.
game.
No, it's a fact though. They were giving Guardians of the Galaxy and Outer Wars for free. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's shitty. You know, what do we expect from these giant corporations, these trillion-dollar companies doing shitty, shady shit? What can we do?
Nothing.
Speaking of
complain.
Do what
shady
you can do.
companies, oh man, we're gonna talk about EA. EA is gonna start prototyping in-game ads. So they're gonna they want to put ads in your games, and it's just like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
EA was quiet for a while. You know, they were just releasing games, hoping they releasing a good enough state. And they had their Star Wars. You know, everything was going good. Respawn, the season of Apex was doing good. Hey, EA was quietly just succeeding, and then they come out with this.
It's like we're doing too good right now.
Yeah.
Let's back it up a little bit.
Yeah. And not just ads in your games, but they're also talking about using AI to make your games. The CEO Andrew Wilson literally said we can't wait to use AI to make games.
That
And it's just like it sounds like I just can't wait to fire all my writers and artists.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like I get, like, from a certain perspective, I can understand what he probably meant, because I mean, it's a no-brainer that AI is gonna be like utilized for game development to speed up the process because these games have take 6, 7 years to develop, and it's like that's way too long. So
Yeah.
obviously AI is gonna come in at some point, but it's like don't say that you're like super excited to replace. Well, I mean they're not gonna say that, but
Yeah.
it comes off as they're being, like you said, super excited to replace their slow employee to replace them with an AI that works a lot faster. And it's like you can utilize AI, but don't like be so boastful about it. It's like
This
it's just
EA we're
tone
talking
deaf,
right?
especially
You
with
know
all
better.
the layoffs that have been happening and stuff like that. Like,
You know, EA never cares about what it looks like in public.
true, that's very true.
It's gonna do what
I
it
don't know.
takes to get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Even with these ads, like if I pull up the next Madden game and it literally stops to play like a Coca-Cola commercial, I'm gonna fucking toss my Xbox out the window.
I can
Like,
definitely see that
didn't
happening.
what was it? Ubisoft was testing that out, or accidentally like let a build of that leak
Well,
into
yeah,
one of their games.
That also
it
sounds
was
like
a
a Ubisoft thing. That definitely
yeah,
sounds
Yeah,
like a
they
Ubisoft
did, they
thing.
did. I think it was Valhalla or Mirage, one of the two.
Ali Mirage,
And
where if you pause the game, it would show you an ad. Granted, it was for like one of their games, but still,
this,
it was an
yeah,
ad
no,
What?
in the pause menu.
yeah, they're advertising their own game in the menu. It was weird. Um, yeah,
They
so
said it
it
was a mistake.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
alright.
fake.
It
Yeah.
wasn't. Like, oh man, I need to go use the bathroom. Let me pause God of War 4 real quick. Have you ever heard of Assassin's Creed?
Right?
Fuck, fuck.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to see more of this. I don't want to see ads in video games. I don't want to hear about how you fired your whole staff and you're using AI to create shitty games. I just make games, make good games. That's it. Well, I don't understand what's just make good games. That's
No,
it.
you must know what we done. You must know that we fired these people to give it to computers to make it bad.
That's the one thing too. Just being so like open about it. It's like don't say that shit. Like we know what's going on. Don't say it. Like that's worse. It's a
Oh
little too on it.
yeah. Speaking of worse, I think Xbox had its worst week
Yeah.
in in so many years. They had a really bad week, and I say that, but I mean I'll get into it. I'll get into it. They had a really bad week. They closed 4 studios, or really 2.5, because some studios got merged with other studios. We'll get
Yeah.
into it. So this past week, the studio behind Redfall, Arcane Austin, the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, which is Tango Gameworks, the studio behind Mighty Doom, which is Alpha Dog Games, and Roadhouse Games are being shut down. Now, Roadhouse Games is being absorbed by Elder Scrolls Online developers ZeniMax Online Studios, and some members of Alpha Dog Games will be moving to other studios within Bethesda. But so I'm not surprised Arcane Austin closed after Redfall, especially after it's been a year already, almost to date, where they still haven't even came out with their Bite Back Edition DLC that they promised the people who paid like $100 for the game. I don't know why they would have done that.
Yeah, not get that
Um,
either.
yeah. So I get why Arcane Austin closed. They it just was really bad. So Hi-Fi Rush creators, Tango Gameworks, that one was the big surprise for me. Is Tango Gameworks is their only Japanese studio. It was supposed to be their foot in the door into Japan, their partnership that would open the door for more Japanese developers and Japanese studios to say, hey, we can work with Xbox. And they shut it down. Even after a critically acclaimed game like Hi Fi Rush that came out, which, by the way, you could play on any system now because it's everywhere. Um, it still wasn't enough for them, and they decided to close Tango Gameworks, which is that one for me was was the most hurtful one The
Yeah.
other ones I could understand, they're absorbing, the other developers are going to other studios. But Tango Gameworks really hurts. That one is the one that's like, it really bothers me. It's like, why? Phil Spencer even said it himself. It's a partnership that we can bridge together for more Japanese developers. And then this week you shut it down. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's the one that I'm really 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 upset about. Even as you guys know me on here, I'm a big Xbox fan. I'm a big Xbot according to brother Matt. I love my Xbox, I really do. But this one was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like really, y'all gotta get it together. And what the sad part is, I know there's more coming. I know there's gonna be more closures. I know there's gonna be more layoffs because that's the way the industry is going right now. We're not there's a fall right now. The industry
What?
is
Oh, like,
imploding on itself,
Wait.
and everybody's talking about the game industry is, it's gonna come, it's gonna fall, the bubble's gonna pop. The bubble's popped, and we're sliding down right now. There's
Yeah.
nothing. Every industry is hurting. We're sitting here talking about Xbox closing these studios, but just a couple months ago, PlayStation also closed down their number one and only studio in the UK. They're shutting down studios left and right, firing hordes of people as well. This is not an Xbox thing. This is an industry thing, and across the whole industry, people are losing their jobs. People are they're suffering out there simply because these mega corporations all they care about is if they're making money, if they're in the green, and if they're not, be prepared. Be prepared, which absolutely sucks.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I said a lot in my. It wasn't really a quick save, but it was more just like a save. But I said pretty much like the bulk of like my thoughts on the whole situation on that. If you want to go check it out, but just to add to like what you were saying, like for years, people have been like talking about like, oh, we need a video game crash. Like we need that to happen again because these games are becoming too expensive and they're too few and far between and this and that and all the microtransactions are getting out of hand and stuff like that. And this is it. Like you said, the bubble has burst. This is the crash. We are in it and we're witnessing it happen in real time. And people are still talking about as if it's coming. Like, no, this is it. We're in it. And it's only going to get worse because until these studios can produce quality content on a consistent basis that's not at the behest of like the studio heads like laying off a bunch of people or closing their studios, then like it's just gonna keep getting worse. And it's like what the main thing that bothers me about this whole situation, in particular to Xbox, because I know a lot of people like they hate, like nobody likes this stuff.
Yeah.
But what gets me is the people are there because they're so upset about Xbox and being like just constantly in the negative, like why are you doing this? You were right there, you had Hellblade coming out in like 2 weeks, like why are you doing this? You're supposed to be like on the upswing or whatever. And because of that anger, they're starting to like just spew nonsense. I've seen people say, "Oh, we gotta boycott Hellblade 2 because we gotta show them that we're displeased with this decision and stuff like that, and we gotta cancel our Game Pass subscriptions because clearly it's not working. So they need to feel the hurt and stuff like that." And I'm just like, if this bothers you, if you are upset that Xbox closed a studio and laid off a bunch of employees, what do you think is going to happen when you boycott a specific game or you cancel your subscription that is supposed to fund these games?
What a cycle.
It's going to get worse. More studios are going to close. More layoffs are going to happen. You are contributing to the thing that you get upset about. And it's just like, oh, well, Microsoft needs to learn a lesson. Okay, then clearly they're not going to learn because they're going to do what they need to do to stay profitable. Like that's just business. and you're telling them like, hey, we want you to do this stuff because you need to suffer. It's like, okay, they won't really suffer. This developers are gonna suffer, not
Wait
Xbox.
till it
Xbox
ends.
is gonna be fine. Microsoft's gonna be fine. They're a freaking $1 trillion company. This is like a freaking speck on an eyelash to them. They do
think people
not
forget.
care. They will go on, and the fact that you're trying to teach them a lesson by not spending money on their products because you think that they're gonna suffer because of it. No, the developers are gonna suffer. That's that, and the
Ninja
developers,
Theory. Ninja Theory would suffer.
Ninja Theory, Obsidian, Double Fine, all these studios that you claim to care about, they will suffer. So
Yeah.
stop being so short-sighted and just sit down, put your big boy pants on, and realize that yes, this sucks, but what the best thing that we can do is the studios that you are worried about, like a Ninja Theory, support the game, buy the game, or get a Game Pass subscription and play it because they see those numbers. Granted, you could say, oh, that happened with Hi-Fi Rush and stuff. What I'll say with Hi-Fi Rush or with Tango in general, we don't know exactly what happened. We can make estimations. We can say, oh, it was because it didn't do well, it didn't sell well, or they thought it didn't perform on the level they thought it was going to perform at. Or maybe enough PlayStation people didn't buy it enough. Like, whatever the case may be, we don't know. It honestly, it could be something as maybe something happened within Tango that was causing issues, and they weren't able to fix it. And because in the FTC trial, the emails that came out from it, I think it was Phil Spencer that they said that they've never closed the studio because it wasn't performing. And whether that's true or not in this case, we won't know. But it's not to the point where it's like, oh well, any studio that's not performing is just gonna get the can. Like, that could happen, but we don't know. The best thing we can do is support the games that we want to support, and that's all we can do. So
Yeah.
to try and boycott a game or a franchise or exit Game Pass because you think it's not worth it or whatever, that's fine, but don't do it because you're trying to help the developers. You're not helping them.
Yeah. And it's it's all the discourse on Twitter is what really gets me, right? So
Also,
yes.
one more thing,
Go
what you
ahead.
mentioned about Twitter, like, Twitter's a bubble. We kind of have
Exactly.
to we kind of have to remember that too.
Yes.
The stuff that happens on Twitter does not represent. You ask somebody on the street, "Hey, they closed Tango GameWorks." They're gonna be like, "What? Who?"
Yeah, they're not gonna know. Even just regular gamers. I talked to my Xbox group, the Laron and Abrea. We talked about it, and they're like, "Oh no, what happened?" They had no idea.
Yeah, they had no idea.
They had no
And
idea. We're playing games. We're having fun.
yeah,
You know, they had literally no idea that Xbox was closing studios, and it's sort of like people are saying, "Oh, it's done. It's doom and gloom. Xbox is dead." We're over here on Xbox playing games. You know, we're into it because, you know, this is we really love games, you know, and we want to know more about it, and people want to know about the news about it. So we're talking about it. But other than that, the casual gamer, the average gamer, they don't care. They don't care. And it sucks to say that, especially because people lost their jobs, but they don't care about the ins and outs of what happens at a studio, the Xbox. You know, they just want to play games. They want to have fun.
yeah,
And that's the gist of it. So this doom and gloom that you see on Twitter, it really is a bubble. It really is a bubble because it doesn't translate to real life. And then it's always the same creators, always the same people, always the same fanboys. It's a bubble. You gotta remember. I gotta remember me myself. I gotta remember. Just let it be, because the bubble's always gonna be there on Twitter. You know, it's these super hardcore fanboys. It's the same creators. Yes, we could talk about it. We could discuss how it's shitty of Microsoft or Xbox to close these studios, but at the end of the day, it is a business. We probably won't know why Tango GameWorks closed. There's speculation about they were, you know, pitching ideas, but they weren't really into it. You know, they weren't really into the pitches. So it's just like, well, what are we doing? Are we going to continue making games or not? You know, so who knows? At this point, we don't know. We won't know for a while. We could just sit here and talk about how it sucks, and we hope that these developers get on their feet and or find work in other studios and or even other publishers wherever they may land. We wish them luck.
Yeah. And one more thing too, because I think Sarah Bond just did an interview with
She
like
did. Yeah, that
Bloomberg
was the
Tech.
next. That was the next thing. Yeah.
Don't come at her. Like she has nothing to do with all this. I feel like a lot of times people get so angry and they wanna point their anger at something.
Yeah.
Sarah Bond is the head of Xbox, and it may seem a little confusing, but Xbox is separate from Bethesda. Like, yeah, Bethesda games are on Xbox, but the Xbox like studios are separate from Bethesda studios. Same thing for Activision. She's in charge of Xbox. Matt Booty is in charge of Bethesda and Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
So he was the one who sent the email. It's on him to answer for these questions. So the fact that she was asked about this stuff and she didn't give a satisfactory answer, like it's not on her to answer. Like obviously she's gonna have to run D for her company. She's not gonna say, "Oh well, they must have sucked." Like she's not gonna say that.
Yeah.
But obviously she doesn't have 100% of the answers. I think like right as the news was coming out about the studio closures, she was posting about she was going on a trip for like a meeting for the showcase. And
Yeah.
she had no idea. It's not like she's on Twitter and stuff like this. A
It's
lot
a
of times,
bubble. A lot
it's
of
a
them, they
bubble,
have their
yeah.
own. A lot of them, assistant deals with their Twitter. They don't
Yeah,
even go on their own Twitter.
yeah, she probably heard about it just as soon as we did. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
And
Just
another thing,
don't come
people,
at people who don't deserve it.
yeah, and in that interview you're talking about with Sarah Bond, she was an interview at a conference, and the conference is about AI, and they did an interview. I think it was Bloomberg, and
Yeah, it was
of course, one of their first questions was about the layoffs, and everybody's talking about, oh, it was such a corporate talk, talking points. She was towing the corporate line. She wasn't being real. But at the end of the day, you have to like, of course, it's corporate talk. How else do you want her to put it? She probably can't speak on most of what's going on, especially to the public or to the press. She's probably can only say but certain things because she doesn't want to lose her own job
Yeah.
and or make things worse for her. So she's gonna toe the corporate line. It's not that she doesn't care. She just you caught her off guard. She's got to answer this question, so she's gonna toe the corporate line. And
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks because you got people in this bubble online talking about it and blaming her. It's really not her fault, and she's doing a good job. She's talking about how AI can help Xbox develop more games, potentially better games, making development better. Not taking over development, but making it easier for developers, so that way games could come out sooner rather than the 5-6 year wait. She's talking about how the next Xbox is coming out, how it's going to be a big leap in terms of technology. So like she's out there doing her job, you know. So just
Yeah.
give her. She don't deserve the hate that she's getting. That's all it is.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve it.
And I will say it's funny that you mentioned about the whole community manager for Helldivers too, because like that's what happens when you speak your mind. You lose your job. It's like
Facts. Yeah.
that's what happens if you speak your mind, and it sucks. But if you want to keep your job, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. And
Everybody-
then
everybody's
she's
trying to keep
she's
their
in
job.
and she's in the corporate structure. She's not a community manager. She's not somebody from the PR team.
Yeah, she's not
they
in the
have
lead.
they have whole different departments and different teams that handle that.
Yeah.
She's there to talk about like the AI and the Xbox stuff. That's it. So, I mean, that is what it is. So then she did mention, which is the last bit of news that we have, that Microsoft is launching its mobile game store in July. So this July they're going to be launching a mobile game store, which is be on the web. So it's easy, anybody can access it anywhere, no matter what let's say no matter what platform you're on, you can
Right.
download the Microsoft mobile game store, and they're gonna start with Candy Crush and Minecraft, and then later on they're gonna open it up more to other developers who want to put their games on there. So they're sort of testing the waters. This is them now coming to fruition with King from ABK, um, and thrusting themselves into the mobile market.
Yeah, I'm curious though, because I know they're probably starting with this because they need to get their footing and see how it's gonna work and stuff like that. And I
Yeah,
know the iPhone Apple is allowing side loading for apps, so that way you can side load like this store whenever
yeah.
they do that. And I know Android lets you do that currently. But I wonder if they'll take it a step further and maybe like revive the Windows Phone or
Oh
like
no.
some type of that. I don't know. I feel like they might try it just because like it's better to have your own platform than to use other people's platforms because it's more of like revenue. You get more revenue that way.
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe this is like years down the line to see like if the store is successful enough, maybe they'll start making their own phones. Or maybe they'll do like a Samsung thing where like they'll release their own branded like phone as like an Android thing and then have their store pre-installed onto the phone. Uh so that way you have the Google Play Store but you also have like the Xbox Store or Microsoft Store, whatever it is.
I mean, they did try that, but I mean, I think when it comes to the Microsoft phone, right, or their service that they had, I think it was like 2000, what, 6, 7, when it was out and about, and people had these Microsoft phones, these Windows phones.
Windows phones, yeah.
Yeah, um,
They
it,
were
I,
pretty
I,
decent, I thought.
I think it was ahead of its time.
It was.
I think that's what it was. People didn't know, people didn't understand. They didn't like the UI because everybody was so fixated on the new iPhone. I think it was the iPhone 4 back then.
Maybe.
And then people were also experimenting with things like the Sidekick and Nextel. I think
Oh,
the
take you back.
Windows, yeah, no, I think the Windows Phone was sort of ahead of its time because it had like the nice LCD screen where you can have all your apps and widgets on the front. Now that's what most Androids and even iPhones look like. So I don't know. I think it was ahead of its time, and we'll just have to wait and see which direction this goes in because the mobile games app can do really well if people buy into it. I don't know how they can get
The
people to switch
question
over.
I was gonna say the question will be how to get people to switch over to your store
Yeah,
because Candy Crush already has their audience, Minecraft already has their audience.
yeah,
To get them to change their store, like that's a lot. Guys, if you look at the average Candy Crush player, they don't care. Like they're just
yeah.
playing the game. They got it from the app store, or maybe it was even pre-installed on their phone. They
Yep.
don't care. Like they're not gonna do all that.
Yep. Yeah, that's the real question. Can they convert people to go to the Microsoft mobile game store and start, services there? It's gonna be a challenge for sure, and we'll just have to wait and see how and where this takes us because it's very interesting to have a sort of new player come into the game this late when most of the storefronts are already out there. Just by most, I mean Google Play Store and the App Store.
Yeah.
Um,
People already like chose their side. Like if you introduce a new side, it's just like, but I already chose.
yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah. I'll
already
be
got
honest.
one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll be honest. I don't care. I
I
don't
don't care
care.
either. Yeah, me
I don't
neither.
care where the apps come from. Like App Store, Play Store, Microsoft Store. As long as I got the app, I'm using it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how. I mean, that's just me though. There could be a whole market out there who's
There
waiting
would
for
have to, yeah, there have to be some type of incentive to get people to switch. I
for
don't know
sure.
what that will be. Maybe like discounts or I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. July is planning to launch, so we'll report on it in July when it launches.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, and that's what we got for the news.
That's it. That's that does it for the show. We're actually I was trying to time it because I know brother Matt recorded some gameplay. If you're watching, I mean, it's already end of the show. You've been watching. So I've been trying to time it up to like the length of the clip. So, but we did good. So yeah, that'll do it for us. Remember to like and subscribe, and rate us on any podcast app that you're listening to. And support our sponsors, and the links are in the description for all that. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Laters.
Bye.